Hello and welcome to my channel. Mimi here. Thank you so much for stopping by. Well, I have a very exciting tutorial for you today. So let's go ahead and get started. What I want to show you today is how I am going to wrap this cross in green moss as well as decorate it. This will be a wonderful addition to your home. I've got all of my supplies all around me and I am going to go ahead and get started. What I'm going to use is super moss, and I got this super moss from Michael's. And so what this is, if you're not familiar with it, it's just moss on a sheet of adhesive paper. And so what you can do is you can draw, you can do your measurements, cut it all out, and then when you're ready, just pull that back off and just add it to your project. So I've already started some of that, and I'm going to go ahead and finish it up. I've got a few pieces that are already cut out. I'm just going to start right up at the top and just add that and just pull that, wrap that all the way around. This is a better angle to see it at. And just wrap that all the way around. Now, even though it has some adhesive on it, I want to make sure that it is going to stay in place. So I'm just going to add a couple of drops of hot glue from my glue gun and then just stick it on. Just a little bit. And it's pretty easy because all I'm doing is just letting the paper kind of be my guide and just rolling it right down along the styrofoam. Another touch of glue as I come around this corner. And I know that I've got my camera orientation a little bit different. And the reason why I did that is because I want you to be able to see everything in the space that I'm using today. So I'm just going to go around and add all of the pieces that I have, and then I'll fill in the pieces on the front, and then we're going to work on the back. This is how it looks once everything is covered up on the cross. The back is still exposed. I'm going to add something to the back, some felt, and I'm also going to add something so that it can be hung either on your wall or on your door. I'm going to attach it right up to the top of here and glue that in. Okay, add a little bit of glue right in there, and I'm just going to put it right on top and add more glue to the top of it. And now what I'm going to do is add some felt that I cut out to the back. And what this felt will do is certainly help to make your projects look a lot more professional. And that is how I like for my items to look when I make them, as professional as possible for myself, or if I give it as a gift, or if I put it in my Etsy store. And I think this one is going to go in my Etsy store. So can you believe this is all prep even before we get to adding the floral? So this one takes a little bit more time to put together. But certainly thank you for hanging in there with me. But this is also a very important part too, I think, when you're making your wreaths. Of course, when you make them at home for yourself, again, you want it to look just like, and maybe even better, I would say, since you're making it yourself, better than what you actually buy at the store, because it's going to have your colors on there. It's going to have your style on there. Everyone's style is certainly a little bit different. The way that I'm going to add the florals to this will certainly be different from what you do, but of course I am doing this because I'm going to give you some inspiration, and I think this is just another good way to have an expression of the crucifixion in your home as well. How's that? Ready to get started on adding some greenery and some floral. Oh, and don't forget the ribbon. The ribbon that I'm using for my bow, I've got two different kinds. This is a 2.5 inch ribbon that I'm using, and it has He Is Risen on it. Just perfect. And it has some gold crosses on there. The lettering is in gold too. And then I also have, I guess this is about a 1.5 inch ribbon, wire ribbon on both of them. And this one is a lavender color, and it has some gold leaves in there. Just really pretty. So I'm going to use that to make my bow, attach my bow first, and then we'll go on to the next step. So I've got a nice long tail on this that I'm going to pinch in. And not a real big bow, but a nice size loop in there, not too big. Then I'm going to twist it so that the wording will show on the other side. And then I'm going to twist it again. And I think I'm only going to do a 2-loop bow on both of these. And I am going to use my zip tie for this. Got a zip tie right here for the first one. I'm going to take my 1.5 inch ribbon, cut that piece off because it bothers me. A bit of a tail, pinch that in, a loop, and twist it, and pull up another loop. Try to get them about the same size. Pinch that in there, and then if I need to either shorten it or make it bigger, just pull it on one of the ends, just like that, and get them about the same length. Nice cut there. And I'm going to add this one right on the top of He Is Risen. We can get rid of that. It's in the way right now. Nice couple loops right in there. And I'm going to pull another zip tie to tie this one up. Put it together, put it around both of them in this case. And then just pull that zip tie through. Got it. Now, for this one, I am not going to tighten it all the way because I'm going to use the wire on this pick and thread it through. Since this is a little bit different in the design and what we're using, this is how I'm going to attach my bow. So now I can go ahead and just pull that real tight and cut that off. Got that wire in there, and now what I can do is just twist that wire around, and then I'll twist it around this part of the pick. And for my bow placement, I am going to turn this so you can see it because I want that bow to go right in there. And of course this piece is a little bit longer than what I need on the pick, and I don't want it to poke through on the other side, so I'm going to clip some of that off. At least half of it off. Maybe a little bit more. Yes, perfect. Add some glue to the tip of it, and I also cut it at an angle because it's got a lot to go through, the work down in between, not just that moss, but the styrofoam as well. So a nice amount of glue, and then I'm going to stick it in at an angle. I almost need a hammer for this part, but it will get down in there. nothing coming out the back. Put that in as an angle and it is good to go. And I am going to go ahead and dovetail these. Pretty one right there. Dovetail there. And I'm going to dovetail the white and gold ribbon. Okay, ribbon is all done. The next thing I want to do is I want to add this piece of grapevine, and I got this at Michael's too, and it's in a roll, and so you can just roll it, cut what you want. It has some wire in it, and then it has some of the vine on there too. I want to give a little bit more symbolism to this, and so I'm going to add a piece of this right in there, and then I want to come around and add it right there. So it's going to cross over the bow on one side and come around on the other side. And to do that, I'm going to need to make just a small little hole right in there. So that I can attach it with glue. And just stick it right in there. Kind of give myself a little bit of wiggle room down in there so that it'll stay in there. Get in there real good with all the glue and attach perfectly. And I'm going to let that sit just for a moment and let it dry real good before I start adding the other piece to it. This is what it looks like with the grapevine garland on it. It just adds such a wonderful touch to the representation for the crown of thorns for this cross. Now I can start adding, finally, the greenery and finishing this project up. For my greenery and my florals, I have some lilies, I have some ALSTROEMERIA, I have some ranunculus, and let's see, and I also have some grass. I may add that. And then I have some long pieces to get some length to the project. So I'm going to start with the longer piece. I'm going to start adding some pieces right in at the top and then at the bottom as well. I'm adding a generous amount of glue to the tips because it has to work its way all the way down into this foam. And you want to make sure that happens too, so it just doesn't stick on top, that it actually gets right down into that foam. I'm pushing the grass all the way up to the top and then cutting the stem all the way down to give me the length that I need to put this in to the cross. And in this case, I am pushing these stems down straight down into there, and then I'm doing my angle. And again, that's to make sure that I hear it get down in there in that styrofoam, and that it doesn't poke out on the other side. These long stems are perfect. Once you get it down into the styrofoam, you can manipulate them. Put that one in there real good, yes. And this is what it looks like so far. And now what I'm going to do is go ahead and start adding some of the florals to it. Starting off with some of these white lilies. I'm going to clip off a couple of the lilies that I have over here and add it to this arrangement. I'm going to have to clip that. Clipping at an angle. Give it a nice sharp angle on there. Fluffing everything out. And I'm going to start with my first one right in there. I think I want to give it just a little bit more of a cut. A nice amount of glue. And then just stick it right down in there at an angle. I'm going to add one more. I added two on this side, and I'm going to add one right in here. And then I'll start coming in, I think, with some of the ALSTROEMERIA. I think the ALSTROEMERIA is going to work really, really nicely with this and pull in some of the colors of the that lavender that's in the ribbon. Yes, 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 this one is not quick and easy, but it is turning out to be so beautiful. Hang in there with me. I'm going to add this one right over here. ALSTROEMERIA. Pretty, beautiful, lovely flower. And that is going to start pulling in some lavender from that bow. I like the way that ALSTROEMERIA comes up and comes over and adds a really nice amount of color to that. So let me show you what that looks like with that ALSTROEMERIA and also with the lilies that are in there too. And I'm going to add another piece of ALSTROEMERIA up at the top so this one up here won't get lonely. Spot right up above that, and make sure that I get it down into that styrofoam. Now just introduce another flower in there, smaller one. I'm going to add all the way around some of these smaller flowers, and then I'm going to come back and show you what it looks like. And I think we're going to be all done with this. I really like the way that it turned out. Hope that it's something that you'll try. It is going to be a labor of love, but I hope it's something that you will try as well. But if not, this will be in my Etsy store waiting for you. And this is how it turned out. I added more of the ranunculus all around. I also added a few more of the ALSTROEMERIA to pull everything together. I hope that you enjoy this. I hope it gives you some inspiration. I'm adding a playlist that has some of my Resurrection tablescape and centerpiece videos from last year. I hope that you'll go back and take a look at that, subscribe to my channel, like my content, and of course, wherever you go and whatever you do, be blessed.